The aim of this comparative study is to analyze two films: the Japanese 1988 Studio Ghibli film The Grave of the Fireflies, directed by Isao Takahata, and co-produced French, United Kingdom, German, Polish 2002 film The Pianist by Roman Polanski. I will examine how Isao Takahata and Roman Polanski employ specific film elements and directing choices within the war genre to depict the human condition amidst the atrocities of World War II and a lesson for future generations. Both of these films explore the impact war has on one's humanity, and views on life in both of these films personally opened my eye to a wider range of life experiences. I was first interested in these films because, firstly, of my interest in piano and curiosity on how classical music will impact the main character in The Pianist, and secondly, by the fact that I grew up with Studio Ghibli films through Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. I also learned that The Grave of Fireflies being a Studio Ghibli film, it had a very special place in my heart. I also picked these two films for a comparative study because they tackle vastly different types of atrocities in different cultures, leading to a different view on the complexities of humanity. In The Pianist, the human condition includes hope, love, and triumph over hardship through the support of others, while The Grave of Fireflies focuses more on the struggle for survival and the journey of self-discovery. Despite these differences, though, these two films also focus on the beauty and ugliness of society and people, as well as a fear of facing the unknown and triumph/tragedy that follows. The opening scene for both of these films are vastly different while having a very similar quality to it. The Grave of Fireflies begins with the death of the main character, Seita, a very dark and gloomy opening scene introducing the dark nature of this film and its heavy connotations. While on the other hand, The Pianist opens with the main character, Václav Spillman, playing piano only to be thrown into the middle of a bombing. This sets a very chaotic mood to the whole film, allowing the viewer to understand that Václav will be a character that will be thrown around and be at the whims of other people. This contrast can also be seen through a cultural lens. Japanese culture prioritizes the group's needs over the individual, leading to a more communal culture shown by the mise en scène, where Seita is isolated because he's not contributing anything to society, hence being shunned by passerby. On the other hand, the Western culture embraces diversity and individualism, shown by the importance put on Václav for his piano skills, shown at the start when people recognize him. This shows how the Western culture promotes individual achievements like skills and talents. It's important to understand the difference of Western and Eastern culture in the understanding of their portrayal of humanity in World War II. A very important character that helps Václav on his journey that comes up over and over again is Dorota.
This is disgraceful. How dare they?
In this scene, we can see Dorota being upset by the "No Jews Allowed" sign. Roman Polanski also chooses at this moment to have a couple walk out of the restaurant, further increasing Václav's embarrassment. This exclusion of Václav is due to him being Jewish.
We can't. It's an official decree. No Jews allowed in the park.
This is done by the Nazis because they aim to dehumanize and separate the Jewish people from the rest of the world. This is different to Seita's situation, as his first blow came on the death of his mother, a much stronger impact reflecting how sudden and fast the war is for the Japanese. We also learn at this point in the story the main motivation for Seita is his little sister, Setsuko. Setsuko is important as she is Seita's tie to his humanity. Leading up to Václav's escape from the Gulag, it is shown how his humanity and his fellow Jews' humanity is slowly being stripped away by the Nazis. We can see this when the Nazis forced them to play more lively music, and many Jews do dance to it, even forcing a man on crutches for their entertainment. Their dying humanity can be further seen when the homeless guy eats the food off the floor stolen from a widow. We can see that people have lost their humanity by the high angle of the homeless man, the action of eating the food off the floor, and the close framing of the environment surrounding them. The loss of humanity in The Grave of Fireflies is portrayed through the emptiness instead of enclosure. Seita and his environment is very empty and lonely. In this shot, Seita can be seen facing toward the landscape, shortly after learning of his mother's most likely death. This shows how he is now in charge of surviving in this desolate landscape by himself while having to take care of his sister. The rule of thirds is being used by creating a connection between Seita and Setsuko. This connection relates his pressure with the responsibility of Setsuko. This is also seen in the other shot as the children come to terms with the death of their mother. This view on humanity is darker, allowing for the audience to feel the pain that the children is going through. In both of these films, the loss of humanity is a result of the enemies, the Nazis or the American. These films both portray a strong sense of pain, creating a very depressing mood between these two films. Symbols are used to foreshadow the differences between Seida's ending and Waslaw's ending. One of the most important things while talking about the human condition is death. Death is one of the guarantees in life. Japanese culture puts emphasis on death and the acceptance of death. Through the stories like The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea by Yukio Mishima, where the chief tells Noboru there's only one way to make him a hero again, heading towards death. The glorification of death, but also the fear of death, is shown as an overarching theme of the Grave of the Fireflies. Chopin Ballad No. 1 in G minor, Opus 23, is one of Chopin's most famous piano solos. Spanning about 9 to 10 minutes, and is currently being played for the German officer by Waslaw, who could be killed at any moment. This was one of my most memorable scenes through all the films that I've ever watched, as I appreciate the genius of Chopin while in the context of this life-changing moment. The piano foreshadows Waslaw's future, hope, and recovery. Music is one of those special mediums that many associate with the peak of humanity, a form of self-expression, a lesson for others, and international. Music like this is generally used as a celebration of the human race, further emphasizing the Western importance on individual expression. The celebration of life foreshadows Waslaw's survival from the struggle that he has been going through. The human condition is defined by a human ability to have compassion, empathy, and mercy to other humans. Through both the Grave of the Fireflies and the Pianist, Seida and Waslaw meets many people along their way that helps them on their survival. We already talked about Dorota, but let's go more in depth. She is one of the main supporting characters providing for Waslaw's escape from the Gulag. In this shot, we can see the framing of the scene surrounds Dorota, making her the goal for Waslaw, reflecting Waslaw's desperation for help. This next shot shows her caressing Waslaw's cheek with a motherly passion. This action reflects Dorota's strong sense of empathy and compassion. In the scene, we can see a no-good, greedy person named Scalus. Despite sheltering Waslaw, giving him support in his much-needed moment, he pocketed a lot of money donated to him for Waslaw's food, leaving him to starve. We can tell that he's an evil character through his character design.
I think I've got jaundice.
You don't want to worry about that. Just makes you look funny.
As we can see, his dialogue shows him to lack empathy. His constant drinking and the metal tooth in his mouth show his character to be greedy and selfish.
Why didn't you come sooner? It's been over 2 weeks. I've got
Problems. Money.
This shows how some people take advantage of others in need for their own benefits. This expands the idea of humanity, bringing out the ugliness, questioning who really is the bad guys in World War II. In the Grave of the Fireflies, this dark side of humanity is more pronounced and shown earlier on. First, through Seida's art. It starts small, with the meager portions that she gave Seida in Setsuko compared to her daughter and husband. This slowly becomes worse and worse as she refused to make Seida and his sister rice balls, despite the rice being theirs in the first place. Having a whole speech of how they're so useless, saying,
"Do you think a lazy slug like you deserves the same as people who are working so hard for our nation?"
This is done by Isao Takahata to further emphasize her evil. This creates a strong sense of injustice in the audience. In the end, the way that the human condition is being portrayed and the importance of it in both The Grave of the Fireflies and The Pianist are crucial in understanding the complexities of humanity. They both bring up the deeper question of who is the true enemies of war, incorporating the ugliness of humanity. These messages are also portrayed through the use of multiple symbols and characters that help or redirect the main characters on their journey. The two messages on humanity also differ in their cultural background, where the Japanese culture puts an importance in the ability to support a group, while the Western culture promotes ideas of individual achievements and skills. All in all, no matter what situation a person should always strive to do their best, as that's truly the only thing that we can ever do.